Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Back Yourself podcast. As always, in the lab, cooking it up for you boys. Hussein over here with Christopher next to me, my brother from another mother. How are you, Chris? Welcome to the set. Mate.
You know what? It's a good round. You know what?
It's a great round because
Warriors aren't playing.
Warriors, shout out to the Warriors.
All the Warriors fans, shout out.
We had a lot of fun with you guys in the comment section. Appreciate the back and forth. At the end of the day, we love the passion from every single club's fan base, and there are none more passionate than the Warriors fans. And to be honest, as much as we give them shit for sucking, they do have a reason to give it back to us at the moment.
They're 3-1.
At 3-1, right?
Of course.
So 3-1 going into the bye for you guys. Obviously, a fantastic position to be in after the debacle in Vegas. You get a week to gather your thoughts, and you come out and play. I think you go to Melbourne, right? So a lot will be unfolding once that happens.
Well, they're a top 4 team, so they should really go there and have a crack.
For this week, you won't have to hear from Chris and I, so that's good for you guys at least. But there will be a few teams hearing from us, but before we can get there, obviously, it's everyone's favourite segment. As far as the Back Yourself podcast goes, ins and outs, and there's a few big ins, baby, so how about we go straight to it?
All right, I haven't looked at anything.
How are you feeling for the round ahead,
I literally took myself away for 2 days.
Yeah.
So it's going to be great. Yeah, I don't know anything.
That Tigers game was a tough result.
All I know is has been a few funny ins and outs.
Yeah.
From South and Para. That's it.
Yeah. So full transparency for the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I will be returning to the motherlands of Iran after this podcast. Approximately 3 weeks of footy I'll be missing. So Chrissy over here will be taking over the set on his own. We're taking applications for a contract replacing me for 3 weeks, so you guys can send that through to the Back Yourself email. But in all honesty, Chris, I appreciate you looking after the podcast in my absence. I expect you...
I should start messaging some coaches.
I expect...
are you guys going to cover this one?
I expect you to hold down the fort while I'm gone, and I'll be back by tragic round to be blowing up back like the good old days. So.
You came back like the worst round. What if you come back and Warriors are 7-0?
I won't come back. I'll just fly to New Zealand and I'll start organising the parade for their premiership. Anyway, moving on to Thursday night football, where shout out to Charles Kroon.
No. We don't give any shout outs to Raiders fans. Why?
Shout out to
He didn't comment this week, did he?
Oh, he didn't have any comments. I asked him. He was like, I got nothing to say. I'm really pissed off at these guys.
All right. At least he's pissed.
Rightfully so. The Canberra Raiders, the Milk, taking on your Cronulla Sharks. That's if you're still claiming them after last week, where they got hammered by the Bulldogs.
Do people enjoy my yelling at them?
No one cares about anything except but Warriors. So that's fantastic. Moving on. Ins and outs. Back row, Morgan Smithies returns from concussion protocol after missing the Cowboys game. So Josh Papali'i goes to the starting side and Trey Mooney drops out into the reserves where he belongs. On the Shark side of things, for once they're not 1-17 because Kyle Iro is out with a hamstring injury. Some say he was scared of Stephen Crichton, so he refused to come out of the sheds at halftime. And everybody's favourite centre, Marijuana Haradi, comes into centre in what is now a brand new backline for Sharks. Tom Hazelton has noticed that they're playing a potential bottom 8 team, so he returns from his back injury to try and score, and Sifa Talakai enters concussion protocol to give up for the round. Spread of 3 or 4.5, depending on...
3? Is that it?
I was going to ask you your thoughts, but it seems that you're...
Is that it? 3.5?
Your mind's already made up.
Is that it? I mean, just look. All right, this is the full transparency, right? You're talking about a Raiders team, which the one thing I did do over the last 2 days is look at a bit of stats, because one thing we'll call out several times through this podcast, and a lot of people will obviously want us to talk about it as well, is the NRL going out and emailing CEOs saying that we've had enough because Luai's head high was way too hard.
Yeah,
we've had enough. Everyone's getting simbin. So I went through and all right, who's the most penalised team? Raiders are up there.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't want to be any bar of this. Now, in saying that...
No one's ever confused Raiders for being smart and disciplined.
Now, actually, just from a logistic point of view, this is awful for Raiders. 5-day turnaround, coming back from North Queensland.
Yeah, this is terrible.
Terrible spot. Sharks, on the other hand, obviously they played in Cronulla. They're not going to play it. It's in Canberra. But it's much less travel. Off a loss that they know everyone's pissed at them, including an avid Sharks fan in myself, and I'm sure every Sharks fan's pissed at them. Just looking at face value, 3.5, is that it? This Sharks team, against the Bums, we know they play good. The only thing is, against Raiders, typically they don't play great. Raiders usually get it up on them, but I think this is an awful spot for Raiders. And I think you mentioned this before the Townsville game. Raiders have had the worst travel out of any team in the comp, and it continues.
Which was part of our concern for the Townsville game, but they were playing Cowboys, so
and it continues. I mean, they've gone Vegas, Raiders. No, Vegas to Canberra, Canberra to Manly, Manly to Townsville, Townsville back to Canberra.
In 5-day turnaround. Yeah, it's really
I'm
bad.
good. Like, I mean, they could go out and destroy Sharks, and they're absolutely out of the water. But I mean, Sharks are one of those teams. And look, the last thing we need is more underdogs at this point. So I think 3.5 spread. I know Harati's there. I know Stone Street's there, which is like bad for the back line. But you have Trindle and Hines. There's no reason to only be 3.5 against this team. I know it's Harati, but I feel like this game, this is the typical Sharks game that all of a sudden their forwards just dominate a good forward pack. I feel like that's what's going to happen. So 3.5, 4.5. I think it should be 6, in my opinion. This is way too short.
I think you could have got Raiders at 6 at some point.
I think 6 is right. It should have stayed there.
Ero's worth 4 points in a point spread. Fantastic. It's not like Sharks are even coming off a big win that you would move the market. Anyway, just a shit game.
I think it'll be all okay.
It will be an okay watch, but it's just like a nothing burger of a Thursday night game.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's me just personally being frustrated at both teams that both of them gave up on us last round.
Exactly.
And I'm just like, Raiders, you guys started 2-0 and then you just reverted to being fucking losers again. I don't have time for you. And Sharks, you guys are just gonna go win 10 games against the losers. I don't give a shit about you guys either. Sharks, traditionally, in the last 3-4 years, when they do have an embarrassing loss, they do tend to bounce back quite well the next week. And
it's always the bums.
Right? Because conveniently, it's always some idiot. And Raiders qualify as that, right? But I guess, the spread's just too short, so you kind of have to just take Sharks at fucking 3.5.
Well, look, Sharks are a top 4 team, and now Raiders, we've established, they're a fringe 8 if they're going to make it.
Well, this is the interesting thing, right?
So just on that, you're 3 points. Is that it?
And this is why you can't get too high or too low on these teams, which I think both you and I have been just a little bit guilty about in the last couple of weeks. Raiders after 2 weeks, oh my God, they're gods. They were never gods. Pump the brakes. Now after 2 more weeks, Raiders are fucking shit. They can't beat anyone.
That fucking shit is all right. If they lose by 6, no one's gonna say they're fucking shit, but they don't cover. So that's one. It doesn't make sense.
No, I understand.
If they go get hammered, then different story.
I understand, but again, the spread is a lot okay, what was the most public result of last round?
Dogs
going and who was on the other side of the Dogs? Cronulla, right? So I think no one even paid enough attention to Raiders Cowboys to even give a shit. Once they saw that and then watched Dogs ambush Sharks, they were like, oh, same old Sharks. So that's why you're saying 3.5. I think it's too short. But I actually have a little bit different approach to the round. And I want to just take 2 minutes aside from previewing every game individually and actually go on this short soliloquy. I think Thursday is going to tell us a lot about how the round plays out. And for those of you that don't know, the NRL sent out a letter to every single team, as Chris mentioned earlier, that head highs, they're putting a line in the sand that head high tackles without mitigation or some other stupid thing happening, direct contact to the head is an automatic sin bin as of this round going forward. They claim that they missed Luai's one, Jordan Ricky's one, Tom Gilbert's one, and one other garbage one.
Luai's one. That was...
Reed Marnie, whatever, right? So, in my experience of watching the NRL, particularly once Philandis and Abdo have taken over the sport, anytime there's a line in the sand moment, they are
so on it.
They're fucking out of control. They're following round.
The one round,
right?
yeah.
We had the sin bin crackdown in Magic Round 3 years ago. And literally there was points, I remember in the Manly Brisbane game, where it was 11 versus 8.
Actually...
Every time you looked at the opposition player, they started sin bin punts.
Okay, just curiosity. What's the total for this game?
So, this is what I'm getting to. Obviously, Buzz, your boy, who you like him, he came out and said, any contact to the head's automatic sin bin.
Yeah.
Andrew Abdo came out shortly after Buzz, and he's like, no, not every contact. if there's mitigation, aka if you're in a Bulldogs jersey, then you won't get sin binned. Like it's not automatic. It's up to the ref's discretion, as if that's fucking ever worked for this sport. So, if you're not horny to back either of these sides, I would definitely make sure you watch the game and truly
see how dumb their calls are.
If there is just like, oh, you made marginal contact to this guy's head, sin bin, and you see like 1 or 2 sin bins in the game, I would literally back overs in every single game for the rest of the round.
All right. Does that... Okay, so we're essentially saying there's going to be a lot of stop-start.
Yeah. Well, not stop. You get the fuck off.
No. Yeah, no, but it's like more penalties than what we usually would have.
Well, this has nothing to do with penalties. We're taking things that were already penalties, which that doesn't make them any more or less penalties. But once you get penalized, you get the fuck out.
I think what you're saying is that's how it's going to be interpreted, like a rules basis, if they give a penalty. I think what actually is going to happen is that they're just going to, even if it's close, they're going to just give a penalty.
No, I disagree with you.
Are you saying that even the ones that they hit like here and they give a penalty anyway? Like, I think the refs are going to be more looking for that.
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
And the problem with that is they can't sin bin for that because they weren't going to, right? But they give a penalty that they wouldn't have given in the past.
Because they're so scared that I can't miss a high shot.
Everything has a flow-on effect, right? Because if someone in the head is going to get hit, then that's always a penalty. But it might not be a sin bin. But now that's a sin bin.
Yeah.
So then anything close is just going to be a penalty, which is a stop-start type of game. So momentum's out the window.
Yep.
Which even more leans Sharks because Raiders need the momentum. Otherwise, these cunts are fucked. In a set scenario, they can't score.
No, they can't score. And honestly, Cronulla, if they are what you have considered them to be and I consider them to be, they should pretty easily cover this line. I don't see why they would go and lose to Raiders.
And Charles, if your team goes out there and loses 13 plus, you guys are dead next week.
What if they go and win?
Then I like them.
I think that it's more frustrating if they go and win.
Yeah, no, not really.
Because
then I know Sharks are dirt.
Oh, so you'll just conclude that Sharks are dirt.
Well, yeah, you can't lose to Raiders.
Fair enough. Sharks, I truly think you guys will go and win this game and put an end to this underdog rampage.
I'd put them under duress.
That's the beauty of this round. There's many candidates.
No, this is it.
There's many candidates.
Next one is also a chance.
Mate, I could put a team under duress in every single one of these games, but I have picked a good one for you as my farewell before I leave.
Para.
Moving on to the next game. Obviously, you're leaning Sharkies. I'm leaning Sharkies.
The world should be leaning Sharkies.
Moving on to the 4-time premiership fucking defending champions that can't win a game in 2025. The Penrith Panthers take on my North Queensland Cowboys, who got their very first win.
Why are you claiming?
And after all of this,
they're good all of a sudden.
Cowboys and Panthers have the same record,
all
which is really fucking funny.
So
but you wouldn't know that looking at the point spread of 12.5. Holy smokes. It did fucking Stephen Crichton and Kickout come back into this Penrith side. Who knows? A massive boost for the Premiers with Nathan Cleary returning in the number 7 jersey. Casey McLean comes onto the bench. Onto the wing for Brian To'o, who was out for about 4 weeks with a hamstring injury.
Jesus.
Scott Sorensen has a concussion, so Isaiah Papali'i moves to the back row. Lindsay Smith into the starting side, and Matty Eisenhuth, pace off the bench, will be taking his spot on the bench. On the other side of things, Todd Payton, why would you change a winning formula? He has a winning formula now.
Oh, no.
So they are 1-17, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, no.
Spread of 13.5. Truly, can you put Penrith 13.5?
But you won't believe what I'm going to say.
Is that it? Oh, come on.
These guys are not going to score. Penrith off 3 losses. Why are we thinking about this? 3 losses. They haven't lost 3 games since 2012, probably. Nah, bruv. I'm not taking anything. I don't care if it's 15, 18. Doesn't mean it. Cowboys could genuinely go out there and score 0. Nothing last week proved to me that they've turned the corner, that this Todd Payton coach went out there and we're 1-17. And you know what? Sorensen isn't any good anyway. Papali'i should have that spot regardless.
Agreed.
Nathan Cleary comes in. Is Laurie still playing fullback?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well,
how can you lay 17 with Laurie?
It's 12.
Yeah, no, but I'm bumping it up. I don't know if you can, but whatever. It's at least that they're at home. And the team that is actually going to listen to this email and train properly this week is Penrith. Cowboys, on the other hand, probably archived it because they're like, you know what, who cares? Because we're going to give calls anyway.
Well, Todd Payton's like, well, we got to win. I don't even need to check my email.
Yeah, so look, will Cowboys come here and think they're gangsters? Probably, because again, This is on a Friday. They played Saturday, 6-day turnaround from Townsville compared to an 8-day turnaround from Penrith after a loss against South and an embarrassing loss against South, especially the way they played. Cleary comes back. They're going to pin him in their own half. Cowboys are not going to make any meters. I don't think Cowboys get to 10. So do you think Penrith can score 4 tries? I think they can because Cowboys will literally give up through the middle of the park. So 12.5, I'll take it. Not scared of these Cowboys.
Okay. This is a very interesting punting dynamic match because we have a certain approach based on the previous couple of rounds of performances that, Penrith off a loss. I want to be on... Sorry, Penrith off 3 straight losses. Yeah, I'm going to want to be on them big time. Like, that's like an automatic play for us.
Well, we faded them 3 times. We have to.
But the issue at the end of the day, and why we're here on the Back Yourself podcast, is it value to take minus 13.5?
Yes! There's nothing good about Cowboys. They haven't covered 13 outside of the game against Raiders.
Well, they're improving.
No, they're not.
They're not at all. Go out there and say they're improving.
Okay, look. Who's the number 1 team that literally will archive the email and do head high?
Cowboys.
Oh, well, there's one other.
There's 2 others.
There's one other. But, like, I just think on top of that...
Number 1, Penrith, which I feel like this point was overlooked by most. Definitely not you in the preseason pod, but these cunts don't even have a home. Like, if this was at Bluebet and this was 13.5, I would be like... And I would lay alternate 29.5. But this is essentially on a neutral. Like, Penrith playing at CommBank means nothing to me.
No, well, that's what I said.
Right? So that's for starters. Second to that, now Cowboys think they're good. So that's not going to manifest in a way where they're actually going to go out and play like fucking Penrith themselves. But are they the same dog shit outfit for the first 3 weeks of the season that couldn't even score?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think they are.
If you think Raiders are that awful that they're the only cunts to give Cowboys tries, then you have to put the house on Sharks.
Yeah, well,
if they're that bad.
Yeah, they are.
I'm going to give Cowboys a bit more credit than that, and I think they're not as fucking putrid as they were first 3 weeks. If this was first 3 week Cowboys, I'll be like, they'll literally go lose by 200.
Someone play the clip of the Tarpany try. This guy's forgotten who they conceded to.
Yes, but on the other end, that Tarpany try... Penrith have conceded one of those every single week.
Yeah, I agree, but...
You know? Look, so can I just go out there and be like, Cowboys won't score more than 10?
I've never seen... I mean, this is the first on the podcast because this didn't exist
I'm scared
before.
of Cowboys.
No, not just that. That we're sitting here fading Penrith 3 weeks in a row.
It's worked for us.
Mate, a month straight and we're fading them.
Yeah, I know. We've been all over it, but...
Actually, we fade them every game.
I know. We lost on Sharks. We lost
2 and we won 2.
Which in hindsight, how infuriating is that from Sharks that they couldn't win when everyone else has beaten them? And second to that, we have faded them and we've been right so far. So
we've been right twice and lost twice.
Can we go from fading them to all of a sudden being like, now they're the right side at minus 14? I don't know.
Look, I think...
If Edwards was playing and it was minus 14 and To'o was in, I'd be like, they're going to kill them. But...
No.
All those
16, 17.
All those dirt players that you said coming into the year that, are you really going to run out there with X, Y, Z? They have fucking Jenkins at centre, Casey McLean on the wing, Eisenhuth back in the 17, and Lindsay Smith starting. And now you're going to be like, after fading them for 4 weeks and winning every single week easily, now, I'm going to take minus 14 with them.
Yeah.
If you feel that way.
No. Okay, we haven't won every game. It's 2-2 because they seemingly covered that Melbourne game.
Well, I was on them for Melbourne, but anyway.
I'm 2-2, right? And the 2 that we faded them against, right?
With 2 dirt.
The Roosters game, they were dirt, right? No one's going to argue that, but they got ambushed.
Yes.
I don't think Cowboys can pull something like that off.
Okay, if that's
it's not possible.
I'm with you.
South, Penrith literally had nothing.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they played, like we said, the worst we've seen in 5 years.
Okay.
Now, Ivan, right? If you're going to go out there and, they could easily go win this game by 6 and just get a win on the board, sure, right? But knowing Penrith, it's not that they actually try to destroy the opponent. It's that they just, first thing they do to get them back is get their defense right. Like you said, the last couple of weeks, they've been defending like Cowboys, basically. That's not Cowboys, because Cowboys are on a tier on their own, but you know what I mean. First thing they'll do is try and stop Cowboys. Now, Cowboys, what we've seen from 3 rounds outside of the round that just happened, cannot score the ball. I was going to say basketball. Cannot score. Yeah, they smoked Raiders with Clifford thinking he's jump man. Listen, they can't score. So, if Penrith are going to keep him to 10, can I trust Cowboys to keep any team below 24? All right, last week they kept Raiders to 20. Can I say with Cleary they're going to keep a team under 24? I don't think so.
I don't like your approach because, I just heard you say last week Penrith had nothing.
Yeah.
So you take last week's lineup, you take To'o and Sorensen out of it, and you add Cleary.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they fucking just have everything figured out. And you have no other concerns. Oh, well, Cleary's in there instead of... you swap one player and...
Yeah, but they're playing a significantly worse team.
Cowboys are significantly worse than South.
Yeah!
Not really.
South's 3-1.
Souths have nothing either last week.
Yeah, but South's are 3-1. And they have Wayne. You're respecting Todd Payton to Wayne's level?
Look. Come on.
I can't see it any other way. Look, my eyes must be painted on or... All of a sudden, these Cowboys fans are getting to your head. These cunts suck. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but that's accounted for.
No,
you're getting 14 points.
It should be more.
Fair enough.
It's Penrith.
I get what you're saying, but...
Come on. You literally, last episode, you said to us, they're going to still make the grand final with everyone.
Yeah,
if they can't beat Cowboys by 13 or more, I don't give a fuck who's out there.
I don't
Cowboys are touted to come last.
Like you said, number one, Penrith traditionally have demolished teams by holding them to
zero.
1 or 2 tries.
Yeah.
I think their edge defense is vulnerable because they have players out of position literally everywhere. McLean is not supposed to be on the wing. Jenkins is not supposed to be at the center. They have players next to each other that don't communicate on a week-to-week basis. And I think at this point, Penrith's happy to just fucking win by 4 because they're like, holy shit, we literally have lost 3 weeks in a row. If we lose this, we're going to go a month without a win. That's very unlike us. It's not at Bluebet. They still don't have Edwards, To'o, Sorensen, all of these sort of players. Cowboys now have hope because they fucking actually got a win for once in their lives. No. Cowboys, I think, can somewhat score against Penrith's D because it's not what it used to be. Once Penrith start playing good and they figure things out, I think there would be a point where if this was like round 10 or some shit, I would be like, yeah, Penrith's going to actually nuke these guys. But this is the same sort of logic that I said on the pod last week with Sharks of they're not playing well enough for me to go and lay 12 points with them. So I think Penrith are not playing well enough for me to now go lay 14 with them. So I actually think Cowboys is the right side.
Fuck that. I'm not taking them with anything.
Yeah, don't watch it when you take it. That's just fuck watching Cowboys.
I would lay 17. There's nothing I saw from Cowboys last week that all of a sudden they've got hope.
Then truly Raiders are in their own tier for you. I mean,
no, Raiders, Raiders could have lost 13 plus to that Cowboys team. So, Charles, that's why I wanted to kill you.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. Yep. On to, they call it rivalry round because Friday night, 8 p.m. sharp. Shout out to Barnesy, shout out to J-Maz. The Sydney Roosters, with a 1-3 record, take on their 500-year-old age arch rival South Sydney Rabbitohs. And talk about ins and outs. This was the birth of this segment for fucking moves like this. Informed fullback Jai Gray holds his spot in the number 1 jersey, and Latrell Mitchell will line up at centre in his return from his hamstring injury.
Yep.
Isaiah Tass pushes out to the wing, and Alex Johnson is out with a ribcage issue. Hubner returns from suspension at lock to see Talis Duncan move to the bench, and LeBlanc will move back to Paris. Hooker Connor Watson and bench forward Celeste Feketi are both back on deck, so Docker Clay goes to the bench and Savala makes way. He played last week? Lindsay Collins, your favourite player in the NRL, has been named to start a prop with Spencer Leniu moving to the bench. Nat Butcher takes over from Victor Radley, who has a cheekbone injury.
Oh, fuck off.
Chrissy, now Souths are putting blood on the streets, and they are -3.5 point favourites in the battle.
Have they ever been favourites in this fixture?
Oh, no. I can't remember the last time these pricks were favourites in this game, which says a lot about where the Roosters are at. Do you think Souths can boast Latrell back in the centres and go and smash Roosters?
Fuck me. I'm sorry. I'm J-Maz, I know you're going to hate me for saying this. Just close your eyes and take Roosters. It's South at the end of the day. I mean, I think it's going to be similar to a lot of takes that I have on this podcast, but everyone's going to come back and now they're going to mess it up, aren't they? And Latrell coming back, going to centre, it's the right move from Wayne. Like,
you like the move?
He's right. You can't have Jai Gray out of the squad because he's a fullback and then start Myers. It just doesn't
Myers in there.
No, it doesn't make sense. So
what's their record with Myers?
Who knows? Roosters, on the other hand, get pieces back. Collins on starting. He's played last week, but starting is important. Set the tone. 2, Watson is a big in. Docker Clay is shit. So thank God he's not in the team. He's on the bench, right? Thank God he's not starting. And I just think this Roosters team, like, are they done? No. If they lose this, genuinely they could come last. Especially if they don't cover as well. Like, gone, in my opinion. But I have to give them one more try. Because they still did create those chances. And against South, they will get them because it's South. So at some point, they have to convert them. And conveniently, it will be against a team that no one expects them to convert it against. Everyone expected it to do it against Warriors. Everyone expected to do it against Titans, where they should have. And then against a team that South have played pretty good the whole year. They haven't had a flaw. They've covered 4 straight. They're going to all of a sudden put it together, and South will look great. The Roosters will look great. I have a feeling the Roosters win this.
And that, my friend, is why I'm putting the Sydney Roosters under duress in week 4 of the NRL.
It's not a good thing.
Week 5, sorry. Look, boys, this is getting out of fucking control. You guys have played well enough to be 3-1, some could argue, which I would. And Souths truly have been awful enough to be 1-3. Yet, when you look at the NRL ladder, you see Souths at the very top and Roosters at the very bottom. And that is all the reason why you're seeing Souths at $1.65 and Roosters at $2.30. Truly, I plead and beg with you guys at home, don't take Souths. It's not the right side. It's a very different prospect for Souths to you be taking them at $2, $2.50, plus 17.5, plus 12.5 to Penrith with no one. And now it's like, all right, Souths have arrived. Let's go put them $1.60. Guess who's back? Latrell's back. Look, the Sydney Roosters boast a forward pack that is actually built to destroy Souths in the middle of the field. And again, literally, these guys are 1-3 because of Townsend and Sandon Smith. Yeah. Because they have been so god-awful on the 10-metre line.
Yeah.
Not only do they not convert chances, but they consistently make errors and throw fucking pick sixes like they're playing quarterback in the NFL and take the life out of their own team. But
take the life out of
this anyone. Is the mother of all spots for Roosters to go out there, bring all of their forwards to the party, and I don't think Souths physically can match the Roosters in the middle of the field. I expect Tedesco and their other players, Connor Watson especially, which is a big in, to really step up and just relentlessly for 80 minutes play the middle of the park, and Souths eventually will crack. And you're getting me $2.30 odds. I don't even need the points. I'm taking upset alert off you this week. Roosters of War are coming to town. At the end of this week, they'll be 2-3, and Souths will be 3-2. Because you will get your own upset.
No. Because you won't hear if they lose or not.
No, I'll fly back and apologise to you guys. That's how confident I am. Souths, they're going to lose. Now, on the South side of things, did Wayne do the right thing by putting Latrell to centre?
Right now, yeah.
I would say absolutely he made the right decision. And I'm the same guy that was like, why the fuck are Manly putting Turbo to centre? They need to wake up to themselves. And I feel like that experiment, the way it played out, injuries aside, they're just a completely different team with Turbo at fullback, right? But truly, Turbo was born to play fullback. And I'm not really sure you could say Latrell was born to play fullback.
Oof, that's got to be a take.
He's great. He is a better fullback than Jai Gray at the end of the day. But you know what? For as much as I haven't given Jai Gray that much credit, and I've been like, fuck this guy, and get Latrell back in there. Jai Gray is not the ball player that Latrell is. He's not the ball runner that Latrell is. He's not the game breaker that Latrell is. Correct. But what Souths lack, particularly without Cam Murray in the team, is just some fucking stability, right? They lack the reliability that I know this guy's going to be there come hell or high water. And there is that dynamic of, you know what? Jai Gray has done his job and then some in every single game. He's busy. He helps their outside backs actually make a lot of meters. He's always putting his hand up for more work. He's saving tries. He's scoring tries. And he can't fit in the team in any other spot, right? But what's Latrell really great at the end of the day? Blowing a game open with the ball with the footy in his hands. And there are some teams in the world, a la Knights, a la some other retards with a horrible spine, that you could give them Latrell and they could put Latrell at centers and they wouldn't utilize him properly.
Yeah.
But
Wayne will.
Souths, I know, with Cody Walker and Kaloa Matangi on that edge, truly, Latrell actually has the easiest job in the NRL. You don't have to run around and save tries and catch bombs and run the ball back. Literally, your job is, all right, after my forwards eventually, or like after the ref gives my team 56 against and we end up on the 10-meter line, I'm essentially Kick-Hal playing center.
Yeah.
With like more freakish athletic ability. They could do so much as far as how do you guard that left edge, right? You have a ball player that will literally make the best decision possible every single time in Cody Walker. You have a damaging back row that's already hard to deal with it by himself in Kaloa Matangi. When healthy, you have the poacher that scored 500 million tries on the wing. He's out with his
Tass and who's playing?
So it's Tass and I actually forgot.
Myers?
Because Wyden's on the other side and Campbell Graham's injured. So it's Ravalawa, obviously. So he's just there to make meters. That's fine. So true, really, the Roosters will have a hard time with the South's left edge, but I'm taking them for a completely different reason.
I was going to say Souths can't make 1 meter.
I think they can keep Souths out of good ball for majority of the game.
I think they can. If they do get good ball, you're going to concede Roosters because it's Roosters.
It's Souths, yeah.
I just think Roosters will score a lot more.
The aspect of the whole sin bin thing, if there's one game that there's going to be 5 sin bins this week, it's this one, right? And both teams, everyone knows Roosters are prone to just hit people in the head and get sent off, whatever. Souths in this sort of fixture are just as likely, in my opinion.
Listen, this is one for my close mates. If Robinson has not printed that email and stuck it on the fucking wall for these idiots to not give one head-high tackle, then I don't know what coaching this guy's doing.
Advanced coaching.
It's not advanced coaching.
Truly,
if they're all going to get
for the sake of the season, I don't want to see Roosters go 1-4 and Souths.
You
guys have been great, but to be 4-1 is something that's even beyond you guys.
If you guys are going to lose, just just lose 13 plus.
Yeah. I would.
That would be much more entertaining.
I don't want to see Souths go and win by 4.
Yeah,
I would rather watch them go win by 24 and just put
the Roosters. That's it.
We will know after this game that Roosters is just completely fucking done.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put my money on the fact that they're not, but we'll see what happens. Moving on to the dirt of the sport, the Parramatta Eels, 3 p.m. sharp at Bankwest Stadium host. Shout out to the Zarefrost brothers, the Mighty Dragons coming off their first win of the season. Go to Parramatta.
They were so happy this week.
The worst team in the league, in my mind. And there's a few new additions for the Parramatta Seals.
I've heard this is going to be really funny.
New recruit Dylan Walker joins the bench for his first game in the gold and blue.
Bench? Okay, good. We
Yes,
don't want him starting.
Bringing 232 games of experience.
He's played 232 games.
Good knock.
Luca Moretti also joins the bench after overcoming an Achilles injury, so Gaima drops out. He was in the first place. This is where you'll really like it. Riley Smith of War.
Riles listens to the podcast.
Yes, has been named to start a hooker in place of Joey Lassick.
Thank God.
And Simonson is named in the reserves after he limped there from Canberra. On the Dragon side of things.
What did they do?
This is new to me, but Emre Gul, a 3-game ban. I don't know what he
For
did.
what?
I don't know, counting cards or something. Sees Toby Kausman join the starting side in the front row alongside David Clemmer, who plays his second game for the Red V. They thought that was noteworthy, so they put that in there. We have to take Dragons. Blake Laurie is back on the bench. Matt Fina is the 18th man, which, if there's any reason for him to come in, I'm sorry, Dragons fans.
What's the spread?
What do you think it is?
6.
4.5. The Dragons are 4-point favourites after ambushing Melbourne. Is it fair? Is it legit? Or
it's fair.
Do Para have the first win coming in the Clint Gutherson and Zach Lomax revenge game?
Look, I actually don't know what to say. I know Para will fire up. That's the problem. I think the change. Apparently, I've also heard Isaiah Papali'i, which is the utility. He's playing 17.
Who cares?
Nah, apparently he's gone.
It is. Let me confirm that for the audience. Nope.
Is he on the reserves?
Joash Papali'i.
Yeah, that's the man.
He's 18th.
He's not going to play. Is he?
Yeah, no.
Look, is Denzel Madison no Cartwright?
No. Come on, Riles. Can Para go out there and score?
Yeah, they can. It's Dragons. I can't sit here and go, all right, Dragons are going to defend them. Are Dragons
everyone else
are Dragons the type of team to defend Melbourne, keep them to 8, and let Para score 20? Yeah.
Yeah.
So how can I sit there and lay 4?
I'll tell you why.
Because Para is the dirt of the sport.
Parramatta.
Okay, this is what my ultimatum will be. There's only going to be one team left that's not going to have a win. That's all I'm going to say.
That's brilliant for the next game we're about to talk
because one of these idiots are going to win.
Yeah.
Okay, Dragons fans, Zero Frost Brothers, I'm not saying you guys will do it, but quote me, either Para or Dolphins are going to win this week. You just got to pick the right one. One of them will be 0-5 and one of them will be 1-4.
Okay, fair enough.
I think because if you put both games together, laying 6 with Titans,
yeah,
hideous.
Well, it's actually the same line now. It's 4.5.
Okay, laying 4 with Titans, diabolical. Laying 4 with... Why is that 4? Anyway, laying 4 with Dragons, even worse. It's like... I don't think we could have said round 4 that they would be both -4 and point favourites against anyone.
You know what the beautiful thing about what you just said is? Mm-hmm. You just said laying 4 with Dragons and Titans is something unforeseen for you. But in your heart of hearts, you actually don't think 4.5 is enough for this Para game.
No, it's not. But I can't lay it.
What does that say to you about Para and Titans? Sorry, Para and Dolphins. That they're both so bad.
I'm interested to know why the Dolphins game's gone to 4, but I know ins and outs is coming. But first, Dragons. Look, if you're going to take Dragons, just take head-to-head and just do this. Just hope they don't lose. Because genuinely, they could mess it up. Look, they could win by 30. They could lose by 1.
This is probably the high variance game of the round.
I think probably this and the next one are the hardest games to tip. No, actually, I think the one on Sunday is probably the hardest. The game of the round. But Jesus, such a tough. I got to take the points. Look, I have to take the points with Para.
No, you don't have to.
No, I have to.
Why?
I like them. I can't lay 4 with Dragons. I've laid 7 with Dragons. They fucked it up. And I know game day, everyone's going to take Dragons. This could get to 6 again. Yeah. That's how bad Para are.
That'll be scary if it gets to 6. And then you have to run out there with this lineup and go cover 6.5. All right, listen up,
Dragons, you morons. This is another under duress game, actually, that I could put Para under. I could put both of them under duress.
Dragons.
Both of them.
Para, already did.
No, both of them, right? Because Para, the theory is, if you don't win this, when will you guys win? And Dragons,
the week after.
For the sake of the pod, I could put you idiots under duress because in advance I was like, they're going to go beat Melbourne and fucking lose to Para, aren't they? Truly, at the end of the day, I'm going to go back to being a numbers man, and
you have to take
Dragons. Can Para go and win this game? Oh yeah, because anytime Dragons are involved, any result is possible.
Correct.
Right? So, can Dragons go and put a dagger into them? You'll see the Gutherina 4 times, and Tuipolota will be back to being the money man? Possibly. But there's also a situation that these guys go out there and lose and give Para a win. So I have to go off the numbers.
I'll tell you what the numbers are. I don't care what it is.
For Eels, for 52.5 with a team that can't score on Eels. That's what you want me to go. Take overs.
Yeah.
I would lean unders, but I'm not a totals better because I truly love picking sides and blowing up come the review. I might have to give you a little Zoom snippet of me blowing up if Dragons lose. But at the end of the day, for Para to win a game in this league without Moses, with what they've dished out, which essentially is going out and conceding 46.5 of Footy to Melbourne, who have been dog shit in both their following games, essentially being held to 0 by Tigers, scoring 8 points against Dogs when they had 90% of possession and territory, and essentially scoring 0 to Manly, which we had the Sean Lane offside try on the fucking buzzer, and Off-A-Gow still hasn't grounded it.
Yeah.
So you're going to give me $2.40 only for these guys to beat anyone. I think I couldn't play Para head-to-head anything under $2.90. So
holy shit! You're going to give Dragons $1.30?
No, well, that would be $1.45, right? Right now, you're getting like $1.50 something. And look, we've seen time and time over the Dragons. Dragons were bigger favourites to Souths.
I know.
Right? And they just beat Melbourne.
Yeah, but
and Para have done nothing.
Now this is now everyone realizes
only reason
Dragons.
this is 4.5. The only reason this is 4.5 is because cunts are like,
it's Dragons.
fuck that. Like that Para have to win one eventually. But when you actually take in what you've watched and take in how spineless Para are and how low on confidence they are
they spineless? Or they're just
and
shit?
how either or, if they're shit, that's even worse than being spineless because then you don't even have like, it's not even within your control. So I know Dragons are going to fire up for Gutherson as well, and they're going to try and kill Lomax.
Oh, that's the worst thing. That's the worst thing you could say.
I would lay 4.5
because I know they're going to do that and fuck it up.
I truly would lay 4 with Dragons.
I'm taking overs. 52. All of a sudden, Dragons will let them score.
I think Dragons, they're coming for an ambush. I think
the Dragons should, bro. 4 is that it? But I can't. It's Dragons.
You're scared.
It's anyone else. It would have been fine. You could change the logos and have the same team. I would be like, all right, I'll take 4. It's Para. They're dirt.
Yeah.
But when I see that red V run out there, and like you said about South, this is probably the first time ever. I could be wrong that they're favourites at Bankwest. They're never favourites. They've won there. They have, and conveniently when they were 8-point underdogs. But the last time I remember them being favourites there, it would have been
it's been
years
a minute, all right.
before Bankwest even existed.
Yeah, true.
So,
like, at the end of the day, I actually think the score lines in every game has flattered Para. They are truly horrible.
They're awful.
And the point spread doesn't suggest that how bad they are. So I would have to lean on the side of Dragons.
I don't know. For the first game that I'm purely about control, I don't know what to do.
Anyway.
I might have to take 1 to 40 on Dragons.
That's all right, because we could pretty much have the exact same conversation for the following game.
Which is upcoming.
Nah, because I
The
think
Battle of Queensland.
I think both teams are better in this scenario, but both teams could fuck it up. That's the thing, Like, I trust Titans more as a favourite than Dragons. But the problem is Dolphins are better than Para.
This is like an elevated version of the previous match.
Yeah, it's the same shit.
Titans are just as dumb as Dragons.
Yeah.
And Para are like... Sorry, Dolphins are just as shit as Para. They just have better players.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and the spread's the same. So, surely one of these idiots are going to win.
I know. That's what I'm saying. One of them will win.
Oh, so it's my head. How about we go to ins and outs and we take it from there? You can find out why it's 4.5.
Why is it 4.5? What did Titans do? Obviously, they've done something because Dolphins is 1 to 17.
Damon Dolph is back.
After a 2-game injury with the utility Sean Mullany also on the bench.
Did he play?
Sean Mullany joins the bench for his NRL debut.
Oh, okay, cool. Wait, so
which
who's
means Chris Randall will start at hooker in the absence of Sam Verrills.
out? Oh, that's fine.
He beat his old team. He doesn't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
And Isaac Fasuma is also sidelined. Hosea Pahulu is also who gives a fuck.
Oh, wait, Paulu's playing? Or the reserves?
Reserves.
Oh, okay, he's good.
Just one change to the spineless Dolphins outfit.
So they're not 1 to 17.
Max Plath moves from second row to lock to cover for Tom Gilbert, who's out.
Huh?
Which means Kundali Lemelu returns from an eye socket injury to play in the back row.
You got it all wrong. Titans, you guys don't win by 4 or more, I'll execute you. How can they drop their captain and this line goes down 2 points?
Essentially, they shortened and lost their best forward, which is news to me.
And Titans have a good forward pack, from what I've heard.
I'm not sure Verrills for Randall is a loss.
Yeah, I don't think Verrills is a loss either.
Me neither.
Wait, is it the same spot as a DeRoot?
Yes.
He was fine.
He was fine, yeah. So 4.5.
Is that it?
What are you thinking,
Is
champion?
that it? The only thing can be like Titans travel, but like I don't think that matters at the start of the
they
season.
have quite a long turnaround. 8 days.
8 days to same as Dolphins. There's nothing that suggests Dolphins. I think I've already locked in which one's going to win because it's Dragons.
By default.
Because I don't think like. Look, this is. It's going to sound dumb.
It's Titans.
They can win, right?
Dolphins.
But it's just the stupidity of this sport if they win. So they're essentially running out the same lineup as last year. Now they'll win.
Yeah.
Like, they would win all these games usually. They would be 3-1 right now if it was the old Dolphins. And now that they've gone back and reverted to that team, Gilbert's gone, who's looked the best out of any of their players. Now they'll win.
Yeah.
And one thing about Dolphins is, like, they do get finally an afternoon game, which helps them a little bit. And they get Titans of all cunts. Can Titans three-peat, truly?
That's essentially the whole round boils down to this. Can Titans go out there and three-peat? I would say
fuck no.
They can because they're playing Dolphins. But
again, it's like Dragons.
I trust Titans this much.
I trust Titans a little bit more than Dragons.
I actually trust Dragons more. No, I know Titans don't have it in them to go out and play good again. I already know Titans are going to play shit. It's just our Dolphins shit enough to lose to them.
Look, if you think that, then you should just take anyone that plays awful this week is going to get 3 sin bins.
It's possible.
And Titans,
yeah, they're just out there just off the dome, just playing. Like they don't even give a shit about anything.
And Dolphins are more conservative. Like Dolphins are shit, but they don't give outrageous calls.
Dolphins is terrible.
Yeah, but they give they give the garbage calls like can't play the ball or sleeping on the player. I can't see someone absolutely clocking someone, but Titans on the other hand.
I can see that, yeah, definitely. But
with Tino and
again,
and these dog dick forwards that they've added in, it just gets worse.
Yeah, truly, Dolphins, what will it take for you guys to win, I guess, is my question. Titans, if they actually go out and win well and they cover, these cunts are going to make the 8, aren't they?
I've got them in my 8 sneak preview updated for tomorrow's video.
I think they've been... But that's the thing with them, right?
I know. Everyone thinks they're good now.
No one, doubted that they can play good.
Yeah, but consistent.
Right? But have they figured out that consistency part of them that has really been their Achilles heel for the last 50 fucking years of them being in the NRL? If they have, then good on them. They're going to win probably comfortably, and they're going to make the 8 as well. Shout out to Barnsey. I'm sure you're loving what I'm saying right now. But on the other hand...
He likes Titans now.
No, because I have a 1K side wager with him that Tigers will finish above Titans.
That could still happen.
Well, it's not going to look good for me after Saturday night. But truly, if Titans lose this game, I'd be like... You just flip a coin to pick their games from now on. Oh, yeah, there's no reason.
I actually forgot who was playing Saturday night for good reason, because now I remember who was playing.
Oh, yeah.
I actually think you're missing out, mate. These 2 games are going to be really funny.
I know.
Anything could happen.
It's truly a great Super Saturday. Until 7:30.
Until 7:30, it's done. But these 4 all in one go, whew, especially the teams they play. They don't play anyone good either, right now.
What would you be looking for out of this game? Obviously, when we watch games as 2 people that are... betting on the NRL consistently for years, being profitable. We're watching to gather information and data, right? So what can these teams show you when they play each other?
Okay, Titans go out and win 13 plus, for example, then I'll be like, these cunts can make it 8 easily. If Titans go out and win by 2, that's probably the worst result, because I'll be like, well, Dolphins are shit and Titans beat them by 2. They're also in that category. If Dolphins go win, then I'll know Titans, they just mailed it in. At least I know they fucked it up. And they got it out of the way. And Dolphins at least have hope in themselves.
I somewhat disagree with you. I actually think if Titans win by 2, that's a good thing for them. Because
they would typically lose.
Because this is a game they'll typically go out and lose.
Sure.
So if they even win by a field goal, all that matters with these losers is if they win, right?
But if they lose?
If they lose, I'll truly raise my eyebrows. I know Dolphins are going to be desperate and hungry.
Are they?
I don't think they've given up. They're really, really poorly coached, right? But you're not really going up against fucking...
the savant of coaching.
Yeah, Craig Bellamy. So...
What Titans low-key have been doing well at is goal line defense.
I know, which
means nothing.
Is a mirage.
Because at the moment...
They're the cunts that are going to go give Dolphins 4 converted tries now, for no reason. But anyway, Titans, you are the better team. You are the superior team. You have been playing better. You're in better form. You're at home. This is a typical trap game, especially on a Super Saturday, where people will throw Titans in their multis and somehow lose. But if this is same old Titans, you're going to lose like morons. But I think we're kind of actually holding you idiots to a higher standard that we expect you to go out and win. Will you cover 4.5?
It's Dolphins.
We'll see.
Come on, boys.
But I don't think you should lose to Dolphins. Moving on to should lose. Wow. Okay, guys. We're going to keep... Normally, I think every round we have a 5-minute talking point game. This is probably that one. Jordan Ricky suspended. Pia Kura moves into the starting side. Jaden Hunt moves to the bench. Smoothie's 18th man.
Where the fuck's Moza?
Latu Fainu, after scoring, takes Jerome Luai's halfback position because he got suspended for hitting Kossi in the head. Adam Dewey's groin is all good, so he'll be playing centre. Jack Bird reverts to the bench. Lala Laliki comes onto the wing for Fa'atape, who drops to the reserves. So Benji has essentially woken up, which is good news. But he can go right back to sleep at 7:30 because I don't think he's going to want to witness what's going to go on out on the pitch at Suncorp Stadium. I know these big lines have not been hitting the minus spreads for the whole season.
Yeah,
that's about to change on this night. There's a fucking massacre coming for Tigers. Shout out to Harry. Shout out to all my boys in the Orange and Black Army. I'm sorry, boys. Like this is bad. What's going to happen for you cunts this round? And Broncos have been knocking on the door of a blowout, haven't gotten it. Knocking on the door of a blowout, haven't gotten it. Tigers. What is this? 5-day turnaround? Sunday to Saturday night.
6 days.
With travel from Campbelltown to Brisbane. Brisbane have had their feet up for 8 days by the time they run out. And they conveniently haven't actually fucking left their own stadium for 3 weeks. No Luai. Players are banged up. I imagine Dewey won't be 100%.
Why is he playing?
He wants to go and fucking defend Stags, apparently. Wake up to yourself. A spread of 17.5, which is the biggest of the round, obviously. But back yourself premium. Shout out to you guys. Minus 12.5 before the Luai news came out because I had a suspicion that, you know what?
He's going to get suspended for no reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was all over that one, boys. Will it win? I don't know. Line value, what it's worth in this fucking sport where cunts go and win at $10 odds every week. But truly, I might not lay a double-digit line for the rest of the year if Broncos don't go and absolutely dismantle them. Oh, sorry. Second to all the points I just made, you had Terrell May last week play 80 minutes in the middle of the park, tackling Fisher Harris and Mitch Barnett the whole game. You had Fanua Bole playing 70 minutes last week, and now you're essentially off 5 days rest with travel, asking them, hey, go and handle Payne Haas and Patrick Carrigan and Reece Walsh. It's literally like death coming to them.
Sorry, mate. I think your wrong game as you're thinking is the massacre.
Okay.
I think it's the Penrith game.
Fair enough.
I think Tigers will go there and try. And to your exact point on the Penrith line, what have these guys proven that they can be 17-point favourites against anyone? And
well, they win as short favourites every game.
Yeah, okay, winning, they don't cover. And like the Dolphins game, they were 5 minutes away. They just let it slip for no reason. Like, they actually cover every game, but they don't for something dumb. Purdue, intercept. They let fucking Avarillo run, again, intercept.
Yeah, and but it's due to dumb things, though.
Yeah, I get it, but they continue doing it. I mean, there's no reason for Dolphins to cover last week. They were awful. And Dolphins, like, even with this Tigers lineup, at the moment, the way Dolphins are playing, I would take Tigers. And they're getting 5 more points.
With Latu Fainu, you would take
it. I would. Because, look, Tigers, they didn't play bad against Warriors at all. If anything, they hung in there, took the waves, and absolutely sucker punched them in that second half. Warriors were like,
Yeah.
And if Terrell May literally puts that down, so thank God, actually, I'm going to call out the one guy in the comments who actually had his brain switched on, who said, if Terrell May scored, we were done. Yeah. Thank God. Because, yeah, you were done. And that bullet try, if it wasn't obstruction, you were done again. And Tigers at least they've shown some fucking fight. And look, they could go and be the old Tigers and mail it in. And to be honest, if they do that and start the year 2 and 3 after all that noise, you can't say just as bad as Raiders, as far as I'm concerned. Because you should have won one of those Knights and Warriors games. At least be 3 and 2, not 2 and 3. In other news, Brisbane on the other end, I think this is a carbon copy of that Sharks game against Dogs, the Penrith game you're saying against Cowboys. All these games that we're laying gigantic lines, this team hasn't proven anything. I mean, they haven't covered 18 in any of their games.
Yeah,
except the first one, which everything stuck in the rain. I don't think it will stick. And to be honest, like, if Brisbane are not going to prove to me and annihilate something like Dolphins after a week being in Brisbane, this is 3 weeks in a row that they've been in Brisbane in a row, for whatever reason, again, a draw, every game at Suncorp, I don't think I can lay 17 against the better team. They're probably playing their best opponents right now, and the spread's the biggest.
Okay, first of all, your point makes no sense to me because you're like, Brisbane haven't proven that they can cover the big spreads because they are about to cover it, but they don't do the stupid shit.
Yeah.
And that's why Penrith's a better bet. But Penrith literally have lost at $1.10 like 3 times.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Look,
that makes no sense to me.
I don't consider them winning against Dolphins and Cowboys some sort of fucking achievement.
Yeah, but these
They're two dirt
these
sides.
cunts went and lost to Roosters and Souths, who are also dirt sides.
No, Souths are 3-1.
Yeah, because they've also been
and
dirt sides.
Roosters, you're typically again this week against Souths.
Against Souths who are dirt.
Yeah, but you're not. Souths and Roosters are not to the level of Dolphins and Cowboys. That is fact.
Okay.
Those two are significantly worse.
I'm glad you're also bringing that point up. Who are the 2 Tigers wins against?
The Dolphins and if they win, Eels, the worst teams.
The 2 most dog shit teams in the entire NRL.
Knights, they should have beaten.
Knights suck ass.
Yeah, but they should have won.
Which I'll get to you guys come Sunday.
But they should have won. Because without Buller and Chorus out, sure.
Okay.
If they had them,
they
would
should have won, but they lost the Knights when Knights made 17
They've
errors.
lost 2 games by 2 points.
I understand that. Which, for me, is actually more of a reason why an avalanche is coming. Because they're sitting there thinking, fuck's sake, we could easily be 4-0. And you know what? They probably should be 4-0. And if they had lost to the Warriors by 20, I would be more inclined of being like, you know what? They're probably going to go to fucking Brisbane and have a go. But watching Halasima run down the sideline and then having Chansey kick that fucking penalty goal, it's going to be extremely hard for them. And on top of that, there was signs of the old Tigers in that last 15 minutes, which I haven't seen at any point of any of their games this year.
I get it, but
playing the ball with no marker being there.
They don't. I think I said this earlier when I was at the gym. They're young. They're gonna do shit like
they're
this.
gonna die on Saturday.
Look, I think we often say this in the NBA. Everyone gets ruled out and all the young boys play. And 90% of the time, these idiots go out there and cover, even though they're dirt. Because they're young. They just want to play footy. And Brisbane, I feel like...
Talk about want to play footy.
They want to, but there's something wrong. I didn't see it last week. I didn't see it the week before. The only game I saw was Roosters. And the longer they keep playing non-match football, the more these spreads are just not going to happen. And I don't think I can sit there and lay 17. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. Look, they could... If they were playing Dolphins or Cowboys, sure. That could have been 20. Fine. I would have taken it in this spot. Not Tigers. Tigers are, in my opinion, still a top 8 side, regardless if they lose or not. Yes, Luai's out. Sure. I still think they're going to go up there and try. And they're not the type of team to, we have a 5-day turnaround. This is all too much. I think that does apply for some teams, particularly Raiders, because we've addressed how bad their draw is. Theirs is another level for 4 or 5 games in. But Tigers coming up to Brisbane, knowing that they're back to being dirt in everyone's eyes, I'm good. I'll take the points. I think in this game, Brisbane, again, will probably win by 8, and that's pretty much it.
I think Brisbane will win by more than 30 points.
I
think Tigers, they're going to die this round. Sorry, boys.
Nah, I think
it hurts me to say, but
I think they have hope.
At the end of the day, it's the Back Yourself podcast. I have to be objective. I truly think there's a massacre coming at 7:30 p.m.
Fair enough.
Moving swiftly forward to probably the game of the round, unfortunately.
Game of the round.
A few
100%.
injuries on both sides, but still, even considering who's running out there, I think 4 p.m. at Brookvale is going to be a
100%.
spectacle that everyone will want to tune into. Obviously, the big news out of week 4, Tom Trbojevic falls to that MCL sprain, so Lehigh, as expected, goes to fullback. Clayton Fualalo comes in on the wing.
Where's Talau?
Nathan Brown starts at prop in place of Josh Aloye, who is expected to miss a week with a shoulder injury. Toffa Sipley comes onto the bench.
That's fine. He's good.
Champion halfback Jerome Hughes is listed among the reserves as he works towards a return from a hand injury.
I thought he broke his hand.
Tyron Wishart will again call the shots should Hughes not come up and play this week. Lazarus has been added to the bench in place of Seve, in the only change that took place after they got raped by Dragons.
What is this move to?
Still 5.5. Hasn't budged a point.
Is that it?
Because I believe the expectation is there's no way Hughes is actually going to run out there.
Oh, yeah. But, okay. Look, this Hughes, there's no way. If Bellamy's going to take him out, they're Dahlia medalist after 1 match of breaking his hand. Sure. Fine. All right. Cool. Let's look at it without Hughes. This is going to be my upset alert.
Sound the alarm.
I'm not tipping against Manly at Brookvale. Probably the whole year. I couldn't care less who's on the team.
You're going to sound the alarm?
Yeah. I actually don't care who's on the other side. Don't care. Manly at home. Look, what we saw from Melbourne last week, they struggle without Hughes. There's no doubt about it. Grant's an idiot. Let's start with that, because anyone that thinks he's actually good, he's not. Pappy, he's not.
Okay, we sometimes operate in hyperbole on the Bucky's
Obviously, no one's going to be, Grant is the worst hooker. No, but in terms of what people rate him.
Now some kind of the comments going to be like, bro, you're a fucking idiot. You think Grant sucks.
All right, in terms of what we rate him, he's literally not even the best. He is the second best Queensland hooker in the competition. Ben Hunt, who doesn't play the position, is better than him.
Okay.
Let's just stay the fact, right? Sure. He was awful last week, so no one could defend me on that.
He was awful last week.
Pappy looked good, and I think the wet kind of didn't do great. Munster looks off for some reason, even though I don't know what's wrong with him.
Let's say he's not the Munster of old anymore.
Wishart isn't creative enough, but great defensively. But that's the spine. On Manly's side, the biggest thing is, can Manly score without Turbo being there? Now, I went and did some analysis because I know that was going to be your take. Manly can't score. Who has the most tries in the competition right now?
Manly.
Who has the most goals in the competition right now?
Manly.
Who has the most line breaks in the competition right now? So Lehigh, objectively, is worse than Tom. There's no doubt about it. But am I going to sit there and go, all right, if this gets to 6, which it might, because 5.5 is right on the edge, I'm going to go lay 6 points on the road with a team that I just saw can't get 8 points past Dragons against a team that through 4 rounds are the highest scoring team in the competition, regardless of who's been there. Tom's been there out for half a game and a game. So 1.5 games it has been Lehigh. And they still have the most tries in the competition.
I have a great question for you, and I'm actually not sure what your answer will be. Who has the better attack in this game?
Manly.
Without Tom? And without Hughes, you think Manly's offense is better than Melbourne?
Yeah, Manly. They have, structure out the window. What is wrong with their structure? And
now I feel like you're being a prisoner of the moment of the Dragons game.
No, look.
Because prior to that, these cunts had 80 points in 2 games.
I agree, but like you just mentioned, Para are the dirt of the sport. And Penrith had nothing. We saw what South did to them.
I understand.
So, look. Have Manly played nothing as well? Yeah, Manly's played nothing. Manly's played nothing, sure.
And
I
Raiders.
agree.
All at Brookvale, come on.
Essentially my point. I mean, how many times can you play him at Brookvale? 1. And 2, I can't lay 6 with playing the best team and playing the best, or not best team, best offense in the competition. It's not possible.
But they're not that without Turbo, though.
No, but they are. Okay, 2.5 games they've had Turbo. 1.5 games they've had Lehigh. They still got the highest tries in the competition. Doesn't matter if he's there or not. Yes, on eye test, we're looking at these guys can't score.
Yeah.
But the stats don't say that. They score the most points out of any team. And on top of that, everything is 6. They've got, out of 21 tries, he's kicked 20 of them.
It does help to have Garrick.
So literally, they're going up by 6s and you're getting... Now he's going to miss them all. But they're going up by 6s every game and you have to lay 6 on top of that. I'm good. I'll take Manly. And they, in my opinion, I think they'll win outright and prove that in any circumstance, you cannot put Manly at... if this Melbourne team gets hammered by Manly and without Turbo, who's going to go to Brookvale and be favourite anymore? No one. They're just going to be like, all right, we can see
especially if Tom,
they're favourite.
Especially if Tom's fit, no one will go to Brookvale and be favourite for the rest of the year, I don't think.
And look, Manly know, and this is what's fascinating. This is one of the ones that we should have looked at. Manly play Melbourne. They knew they were playing Melbourne. They looked like dirt last week.
Yeah, they did.
That we know they didn't even try.
Yeah.
They went out there and there was a side road. It just says how bad Para are. They didn't even go out there and give a fuck. This time, yeah. And they always fire up for Melbourne. I'm good. I know Tom's not there. I get it. Hughes could... if Hughes plays... Fuck, that's difficult. Because that's going to be 8... Can I lay 8? 9? That's a lot.
That's a lot. Because the look ahead...
It'll be 8 or 9.
The look ahead...
I haven't looked at the look ahead.
The look ahead...
For Warriors.
Without Hughes and with Tom, had Manly $2.10.
Yeah.
Right? Without Hughes. So if you take Tom out and you put Hughes in, I think you're looking at like 9.5.
Jesus.
Which is a lot. Manly will be like $3.20.
That's a lot.
At Brookvale.
I don't think he'll play, so let's not discuss it too much, but that's going to be... I'll have to tip Melbourne.
It is kind of curious because normally Bellamy doesn't even give a fuck to play mind games that he has named him. So I feel like I'm going to say he's a 10% chance, which let's, for the sake of argument, say that he's not going to play.
I
feel like I definitely could have put Melbourne under duress.
Yeah.
All right, you fucking sick cunts. You've raped the living daylights out of Para. Sure, no one gives a shit about that. You beat Penrith, but allowed them to score 24 points, and you cunts didn't even try for 2 minutes. And now, apparently, you can't score after you can't score against Dragons, right? Are you guys truly, deserve to be $3 to win the premiership all the way in March?
Yeah.
Then they should go and win this game, right? But, like you said, very tough task going to Manly getting a win. I think, truly, Manly need Turbo.
Yeah, I think there's an argument that they just wipe him off without him. Sure, but I don't think I can take that. I don't think I could go for that.
I'm not saying wipe him off because I think Manly without Turbo, which we have seen essentially in the last 2 weeks,
they're still a top 8 team.
Will make the top 8 in my opinion. But against the big dogs of the sport, you need Turbo in those games because, like you said, Manly's path to victory is through putting up 30 points and. True, attacking wise, Turbo probably gets you at least 1, if not 2 tries that you otherwise won't get with Lehigh there. And that's not to say that Lehigh's not a good player, but there's only one Turbo, right?
There's only one Turbo.
Second to that, Paseka's already out for the season.
Now, not season, remember? He's coming back.
Sure. Now Alloy is out as well, so you have a cluster of injuries to your front row. Sipley is truly one of the laziest players.
No, but I'm I don't think I can sit there and go, oh yeah, I'm going to back down to Stefano. No, I'm good. If they had Nelson, sure, but not with Stefano.
No, but I think when the Melbourne forwards are really locked in, they play a lot different to what they play on paper.
Are they going to be locked in though?
Oh yeah. They're not going to go back down to Manly. Trust me.
They won't back down.
Especially, like I say this consistently, if Melbourne had gone and raped Dragons like they were supposed to, I would be more inclined of, first of all, you'll get Manly at 6.5, not 5. And second of all, you would probably not get such a locked-in, focused Melbourne side. So the fact that they're going to be really fired up for this game, and I truly doubt Manly's ability to hang in with the big teams once Turbo's not in there. I think I have to lean the side of Melbourne. But like you said, game of the round, normally you would want to be taking the points with the underdog that's playing at home in this situation. But Melbourne off a loss is just... I don't want to just sit there and forget about how great this side is and what they're capable of.
We're not going to forget it. I just Manly's not what people will see. I mean, this will come out before I don't know. Maybe it will. I don't know. Manly's top 3, in my opinion, top 3 projected right now. I have to put them above Sharks. I have to put them above Brisbane. I have to put them above Penrith. So you're not, and going to Manly is not it's up there as one of the worst places you could go. Them and Melbourne. Them and themselves. No one else, maybe Suncorp on a week that you don't want to travel, shit like that. But overall, you're all right, where the fuck do you want to go?
New Zealand when they're good.
New Zealand when they're good. Manly, Melbourne, right now they're the 2 teams. And you're not going to, Turbo might be out for a little, he's out for 4 weeks, right? Who the fuck else is going to be favourite there? Penrith won't be. Penrith will be picking. Brisbane would be favourite because they're so up there. But
hyped.
Now if Manly win, you can't do that either.
A full strength Dogs?
It'd be very close.
They'd be favourite.
They would be favourite because no Turbo.
Yeah.
But with Turbo, obviously, Turbo, it's not.
With Turbo, Manly would be probably -3, -4.
With Turbo, I don't think anyone will be.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Not right now.
But yeah, I guess this is probably the first game of the round where we're kind of on opposite ledges. But anyway, we'll see.
This would be typical unders.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
Melbourne
they'll
can't
kill
score,
each other.
Manly can't score.
I think they'll kill each other.
They're going to kill each other. I agree with you.
But I don't know, 4 p.m. and the head high thing, who knows? Simp, just keep your hands down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Nathan Brown, don't do anything dumb.
Oh, yeah, you have Nathan Brown and fucking all these idiots.
No, you have McDonald and Trent Learo.
Yeah, they're idiots.
And you're lucky Nelson's not playing. And Warbrick, you never know with this guy.
I think Melbourne's lucky Nelson isn't
Who's playing centre again? Because Meany's still out, right?
Howarth and Anderson.
Oh, Anderson.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, is he any worse than Foyla?
No,
it's debatable.
no.
Anyway, moving on to the darlings of the NRL, the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs take on
the other
my
game
Newcastle Knights coming off a bye.
Oh, this is an interesting ins and outs.
It's a very interesting
because
ins and
Knights are
outs.
involved.
First of all, shout out to Matt, shout out to Chris Creas, shout out to the Kennel, shout out to Stephen Crichton, Bronson Jerry, Reid Marnie, the biggest grub in the NRL, Gus Gould, the father and mother of Gus.
Look,
Gould.
I want to say something about Gus. Like,
I'm not done.
For Matt. I heard, I don't know who posted this, one of the pages we actually follow. That Gus was saying, oh yeah, I would be scared to give Galvin like a big contract.
I watched this, yeah. But he says that he fundamentally believes that you shouldn't put $1 million price tag on a teenager because it fucks with their confidence, a la Ash Taylor, a la Luke Brooks, a la the scrutiny like really gets to them and they're not prepared to handle it.
I get it.
Because Gus has been on record saying Galvin's the most talented player he's ever seen in his life at that age, right? So I don't think that was more of a knock of Galvin. It was more just, hey, just look, give him a couple of years and then give him 10 years, 10 mil.
The Tigers don't have a choice.
He also said Tigers should do whatever it takes to keep him. So
yeah.
I guess Gus gets that. But what else Gus gets is apparently a fucking winning formula for whatever club he gets to. So fair play to the man.
Yeah, fair play.
Ins and outs for this one.
Guys,
Tupanua serving a suspension for literally getting suspended for no reason whatsoever.
Did you see his shot?
Hitting Trindle after the fucking final buzzer had already gone. Curtis Moran comes onto the bench for this.
Didn't you play last week?
No.
No.
Classy outside back Jacob Carraz is listed among the reserves as he nears a return from his hip injury.
Won't play.
Will he wait for his boys to come?
There's no way he plays before a bye. Like that's just that is less chance of news. That would be truly
On
dumb.
the night side of things, they've locked Adam O'Brien in a room and haven't given him food or water, so he doesn't have the energy to think because he only has one change to the side that got raped by Titans. Leonardo is back from his knee injury, and Brodie Jones goes to 18th man.
Wait, Piers Paul's still out?
Yes, as is Dylan Lucas.
All right. I've got it wrong.
What's the spread in this one, Chrissy?
6?
6.5.
Is that it?
Is that it indeed? What do you think?
Is that it?
What do you think?
No, is that it?
Do the Dogs through their 17 workhorse players over here? Shout out to Connor Tracy. Shout out Wilson, Jerry, Crichton, a.k.a. Bitcoin, Montoya, Bailey Hayward, a.k.a. Darren Lockyer, Toby Sexton.
You don't say you're not done because you're done. This is going to be the shortest one out of all of them. It's very simple. Lay it with Dogs. Whatever it is.
Is this your?
It's Knights.
Is this your?
It's Knights.
Is this your alter ego when you're baiting a team?
No, it's Knights. I truly think they'll cover.
Dogs.
Yeah, because listen, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Conveniently, look at. I'm not a man of superstition, but it's very convenient that they're the last game of the round, so they can witness all the garbage. Listen, at least 10 players are going to get sin bin this round, minimum, from throwing the head high tackle.
You might just get 10 in the Roosters game.
Yeah, we'll see, but minimum 10. And Dogs get to sit back Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, watch every single game and be like, all right, this is how they're reffing it. And I know, the thing is, I know Seraldo and Gus will sit there and watch the tape and be like, boys, they're calling this like garbage. Do this properly. What I know also is that Knights will not do this. And Adam O'Brien will be probably just sitting back being like, oh, I'm so happy we're back from our bye. I had such a good relaxing time on the Sunshine Coast. Guaranteed. He might not even seen the email. Knights still are dirt without their second rowers. And they're starting, I forget who they start now. Frizzell and Co.
Yeah, Frizzell and Co.
Who cares?
Can't.
They have two strike centers who are, one of them is nullified because Bitcoin's on the other side. So he's finished. Whoever plays on that side. Done.
No, sorry, Bradman.
Done. And in terms of workhorses, Knights are just like everyone else, going to try for 20 minutes and then be like, this is too much. We're good. That's all I need to say. I don't think there's any, like, 6, 7, 8... 9 up to 10, I would take Dogs. Literally. I know Knights are going to go there and just... Knights could be the team that gets like 3 sin bins easily. It's just dumb. They'll just do something dumb. You got too many idiots on this team that they'll go out and do something stupid.
Fascinating fixture, Chris. Absolutely fascinating.
I feel like we're old us would be like all overnight. Dogs are going into the bottom. No, I've had enough of that. I know Dogs are going to win.
I'm old school, baby.
You're going to take Knights. There's nothing good about them.
Knights might win.
Knights are shit. What do you mean Knights will win?
This will be a very interesting revelation sort of caliber game in my eyes in regards to the Dogs of 2025. How hungry are these pricks?
They'll win every game and then give up.
Can they really, truly run out there and win every single game?
Yes.
And look, perception is sometimes not always reality in the NRL. And
no, it is today.
Once Kikau and Burden went down, you came on and you took 8.5 with Para. And you said upset that Para's going to win.
Yeah.
And Para are literal waste cans.
Listen.
I'm not done. Para. So did you let me get a word in over here, yeah? And then after that, you said you were hesitant to take 11 points with Dogs against Sharks.
Yeah, which you weren't.
Which I also, at the end of the day, I can't sit up here and say I took Dogs. So I'm no genius either. But they still don't have Burden and Kickout.
But it's not.
So does that mean anything to you?
No, it's not.
Of like, can you separate yourself from watching them go and molest Sharks and still sit here and be like, they still don't have their two best players though?
All right, this is why I separated.
Does that not mean anything to
Last week made me separate it, right? The first week it happened, against Titans, they're going to go and win that game. They're up 22-0 and they still played pretty hard. The Para game, if it wasn't for being Para or Dolphins, they would have lost.
Yes, I agree.
Because they were awful.
Yes. They might have even lost to Dolphins.
But they won.
Yep.
And then the week after
was kind of the shock result.
Gus and Serraldo clearly said something to them. Be like, just play your footy, boys. Don't worry about they're not there. And they actually went and won.
I know.
And they're going to just do the same thing again. And I know Knights are nowhere near the level of Cronulla. Will they play better? Maybe. But that doesn't mean it's going to be close. And it won't be close. I know what you mean, but I think they've passed that. It's like when Cleary went down, they played really hard that game against Melbourne. But they didn't go beat South. If they went and beat South and won, then I would be like, all right, it doesn't matter. He comes back. If they went and beat South by the spread and that line was like, I don't know, 19 this week because Cleary's back, I would take Cowboys. Very different scenario. Because in that case, those boys truly believe that they could go and win. But after they lost to South, they're like, we need fucking Cleary. And Cleary's going to come back and annihilate Cowboys because it's Cowboys. But I think this is a completely different scenario because Dogs have gone and proven, okay, without them, we won one game which we didn't deserve to win, and the boys clearly knew that. And then we won another game that we deserved to win this. And now they're playing a much weaker opponent, 4-0, and have they played at a core stadium?
No.
The place is going to be going off. I mean, 4-0 team, what they've been doing in Belmore and Punchbowl and all these areas, it's going to be absolutely packed. In Newcastle, like, they're just going to go to the moment and be like, look, all right. And truly, what will piss me off the most, all these other times I took Newcastle against this dog side, now you cunts are going to go win. No, not this time. Fuck off. Just lose. I'm taking Dogs.
Fair enough. I wouldn't be mad at anyone that made an argument to take the dog spread, but truly, like,
you like Knights.
At the end of the day, with punting, you're kind of looking at teams as commodities, similar to how you would view stock market. And I'm not sure you'll get Dogs at a higher point than that Sharks at fucking ambush last week. For the spread to shift like 17 points between Knights and Sharks in 1 week, and now you also don't have Tupanua, who has been playing quite well for you, and kind of plugged in the hole for Kickout, right? You're replacing him with Moran, who is not an edge back rower. He's just like I said, he's just out there running like a donkey.
Yeah. No, but look, the other thing is...
Like, how desperate is this Dogs team?
Well, how desperate is Knights?
They're desperate.
Are they?
Yeah.
No.
I think they're desperate.
Well, Knights have beaten the piece of dirt dog Tigers without Coruscant, and we know how bad Dolphins are.
Oh, yeah.
So there's actually nothing good about Knights so far.
Mate, there's nothing good about Knights at all. This has nothing to do with Knights.
Adam O'Brien off a bye, he's cooked too much. Way too much.
This has nothing to do with Knights. I truly, I saw these guys play Para and not make, Dogs, that is, and not be able to make meters and not be able to get down there consistently. Didn't really score that much past Para when they did get down there. Are they now all of a sudden the greatest team on the fucking planet Earth after winning one game against Sharks? Where I don't want to sit here and be like Sharks were shit, because I feel like that's detracting from how truly amazing Dogs actually were. But if Dogs cover this line, these cunts are actually not human. Like, they have transformed into Penrith.
They are. They are.
And they may as well change the logo and the jersey.
Their loss is coming when they're all back. And they're going to be pick them against Brisbane.
No, because after this game...
They have a bye.
And then after that,
it's
Easter against Souths. So this Knights game... No one cares about Knights, right? The Knights are irrelevant. Going to Shark Park... All you heard from Critter and Serraldo after the game was, yeah, this is a top 4 side. They've been giving it to us for a long time. We really wanted to come here and make a statement, etc.
You've beaten them last year. But
you've raped Knights 50 times in a row. Knights are nothing to you guys.
Yeah, but it's Dogs. They're literally Penrith all over again.
And you held on. You bit down on the mouthguard. You got the win against Para when they were coming for you. You went and absolutely ambushed, and full credit to you guys, beat the dog shit out of Cronulla in a physical affair. While Knights were kicking the feet up. Is that a positive for Knights? I don't know with these guys. It might not have helped them. But if Dogs, after that high of winning last week, hearing all week in the media how good they are, knowing that they have a bye with Kiraz, Burden, and Kickout to come back immediately after the bye to go and push South shit in on Easter in a game that they haven't won for fucking 20 years in a row. If they're going to go and cover -6.5 to a team coming off a bye with Kalen Ponga and Brandon Best and Dane Gagai and the ability to actually probably score a couple tries against them, then I will not bet against Dogs for the next 20 weeks.
And Matt, I hope you're not going to agree with me, but we never agree on this. I actually think they have more chance of losing to South when they come back from their bye.
No way.
See, the thing is with Dogs, and no one has called them out yet. In the moment, they haven't been great. Those last 3 games, why'd they lose them all?
Yeah.
Moments. Everyone, Dogs and Manly. Oh, we got Dogs and Manly 2 weeks early. Let's see how it goes. That was literally their worst performance all year.
Until the following, which was even worse against Cowboys.
Then they went, all right, if Dogs win this, they get to play Knights. If they lose, they get to play a home game against Manly. Oh, we're not going to play Burden because we don't care if we play Manly. How did that turn out? But we're going to go lose. Awful performance against Cowboys. The Manly game in the finals. The best performance they had out of the 3 games. They still fucked it up.
I think they just lost to a better team.
No. I get it. But the last 20 minutes, all the Dogs that we saw the whole year wouldn't fuck that up.
Yeah, I agree.
So once they come back from their bye and they're 5-0 and they haven't played for 2 weeks, and they're going into Easter to play South. And then after that, knowing that they play Brisbane in Brisbane, they are big moments. South could be like 4-2. They'll win 1. It could be. And Brisbane will literally be 5-1. And that's the competition they need to play. So in this moment, they know Knights are dirt. They're going to go beat Knights. Dogs haven't been confirmed to not be Sharks yet. You got to put that in. Yeah, they're great through the regular season. We've seen Sharks annihilate teams offensively. Dogs do it in a completely different way. But we've seen Sharks annihilate teams through the regular season, get to the finals and fuck it up to teams like Roosters with nothing. Dogs did the same thing last year. Every Dogs fan can come at me for that. There's no way anyone could say to me, nah, bro, they still play good in the... They didn't. Those last 3 games, there was nothing like the Dogs we saw the whole year. Not even close. And in the moment, they have not been great and haven't been proven to be great in any of those moments. So can a 5-0's Dogs side go after their bye and fuck it up to South? Yeah, I can see that happening. Can the Dogs side go then after South, go play Brisbane and fuck it up again? Yeah, because Brisbane will be out for them. South will be out for them for sure because that's the Easter match. Knights are going to be like, oh yeah, we get to play Dogs. We're back off our bye. We trained really hard. I know they didn't train. I know Dogs are off their high, and Dogs just keep rolling. That's what they do. That's what they did last year, and they're going to do it again. I think they're absolutely going to smoke Knights. Not even close.
Look,
and then fuck it up to South, maybe.
Week 1, Dogs, in hindsight, is a despicable line. Went to Dragons, they were 2.5. I said, is that it?
Yep.
Week 2, they played some losers, Titans. We said, come on, is that it? It's Titans. They beat the shit out of both of them. Then week 3, you barricaded for Para, who ended up covering. I was much more reluctant because I said Dogs were way better than these guys, even without Burton and Kickout. And last week, I was somewhat scared of them, but you were like, Sharks really should win.
I didn't think that Sharks would lose, but I thought Dogs would cover.
That's fine, yeah. I agree with you. But now, I don't think we've definitively come on and been like, oh, you need to fade the Bulldogs. They're not that good. Yada, yada, yada. So this is not me, like, taking any respect away from them or thinking any less of them for the rest of the season and diminishing their ability to finish top 4 and maybe fuck around and make a prelim or grand final or whatever. All I'm saying is, at the end of the day,
it's not.
They're all humans playing the sport, and there is a letdown spot in the NRL for every fucking team out there. And last year, when they covered 500 games in a row, I said, Chris, their fucking day will come where they will fall flat, and it's not... No one ever fucking wins every game ever except Penrith. And when they got to the end of the year, they were gassed out, and mentally they looked exhausted, and you could say they weren't ready for the moment if that's how you feel, and they fell flat. So I'm more so just arguing that anyone that's been 2-0, they end up fucking it up. 3-0, they end up fucking it up. Now that they're the only team that's 4-0, it's kind of the inverse of, you know what, like Dolphins and Para, they eventually need to fucking win a game,
Dogs
right?
need to lose one.
Dogs eventually need to lose a game as well.
They'll lose in a bigger scenario. Like I don't think they can lose in any capacity.
If you're gonna say they're gonna go and lose to
South,
no way.
Look,
they'll never lose to South.
Genuinely, if that's like 10.5,
it will be. Yeah.
Absolutely slam South. I know South will show up.
Even if I'll give you that one, if you're gonna say they're gonna go to Suncorp and lose, and Broncos will get their revenge, maybe
I'll give you.
But
I keep going.
Can I go and lay 6.5 with Dogs with all these factors going in? I would realistically lean more towards Knights, even though this has nothing to do with Knights. Really, like if it was fucking Para and they were getting 12.5, I'd probably take Para. If it was not 12.5 anyway. If it was Roosters getting Roosters probably just as dog shit as Knights. If it was Roosters getting 6.5, I'd probably take Roosters.
You know what? That's why the line's so low. The line hasn't blown out yet. I don't think 6 to Knights is blowing out, being this is the most public team. Otherwise, this would be 8-10.
Okay,
that level.
What would you put the spread if Burton, Kickout, and Kiraz played this game?
13.
Yeah, so then 6 is fair.
No,
because Burton, Kickout, I think would probably be like 5-6 points.
Yeah.
That's why you can't put this 10.
I would put 8.
That's why you can't put this 10, because then you would put them 17 to Knights full strength, and you wouldn't do that. So technically 6 is fair.
I don't think it is. I think Knights get killed. They suck.
You know what, Chris? I'm not going to really fight you on that, because if Dogs just go out there and play their best and Knights play their best, yeah, Dogs will probably beat them by 10. But I think there's a slip up coming, and at this stage, I think any win's a good win for the Dogs, and if they go and win by 2, that wouldn't shock me either.
I don't think this team wins by 2, unfortunately. I wish they would, but they don't. They go out there and just literally shut you down completely. That's what they're going to do.
Fair enough. Well,
it's a team that can't score.
I think second to Warriors, we probably get a lot of Doggies fans commenting on our podcast. So shout out to the Doggies fans. 4-0 for you guys has been a great start to the year, and doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. Definitely we'll be watching this.
You forgot my last point for Dog South that will be on Good Friday.
I'm all ears.
Who's the one centre that would actually pump Bitcoin?
Latrell Mitchell. Oh, wow, what a matchup. I hope I can get KO any round for that. That would be great.
That's all I'm saying. That's a few more weeks away, but there is one player that will actually nullify an edge that can actually get the ball over past Bitcoin himself.
Yeah.
So
that's great.
We'll have to see that, but I think that's pretty much wraps us up.
Overall, how do you feel about the round ahead, sir? Is there any...
Shit.
It's a pretty bad
anything
round.
Can happen. I only think, if... You know what? We'll start with if Raiders go win...
Sure.
I'll be like, all right, this round's just going to be cooked. It's just that simple. I think every underdog has hope, except for Cowboys. I think they'll get absolutely killed.
You giving Tigers hope?
Yeah. Can they win? Probably not without Luai, but stranger things happen, so who knows. But I think Cowboys are probably the the least chance. Any Cowboys fan, don't watch our podcast come Friday if you guys get killed. I will annihilate you because I know you guys are dirt. And
South Roosters is great.
South Roosters is fantastic. Those two games...
Manly Melbourne's great.
Those 2 games on Saturday are going to be like just comedy.
All-time comedy.
And then Tigers, let's show us your stripes, boys. I think truly they're going to go there and try. Manly's going to be great. And to cap it all off, after all the sin bins we watched, Knights are going to get 2 sin bins and Dogs will win this game by 20.
Fair enough, sir. I would say... Well, in my opinion, it doesn't mean anything because I'm not in the country. So, with that being said, appreciate all the support as always. Like, comment, subscribe, lads. A farewell from me for the meantime. 3
Until
weeks away
Magic
from
Round.
the pod. I will miss the footy. I will miss the pod. Doing it with you truly brings me joy twice a week, mate. But I know that I'm leaving the pod behind in very capable hands. And you go get those Warriors fans in my absence, mate. I'll be back come Magic Round.
Well, what do you think? Should I defend them? Actually, the last thing, should I defend them against Melbourne?
That's up for you. But with the look ahead of 14.5, it seems that they're not priced to be the greatest team of all time, conveniently.
I thought they were gods. What do you mean 14?
I don't know,
they were worse. That's worse than last year.
The bookies don't seem to agree with you, mate.
That's strange. Fascinating.
Yeah. Anyway, pleasure as always, guys. Appreciate the support. Chat to you guys later on the Back Yourself podcast. Peace out.
Peace.